Welcome again to our channel today. My name is Lydia. She inspires all. There were days when relocating and living, of course, working in another country was a dream, a far-fetched dream. And of course, I had no relations or a godfather or a godmother to help me. And I desired so much to find someone who could help me with information on how to or where to find this information. And the only thing that I had was a hope and a dream. In the recent past, I think I have shared, a few links to some of the people who DM'd me, asking me how I relocated and if there are opportunities to come to the UK where I live. And of course, I'm living my dream right now in a foreign country, not just alone, but with my children and working in a sector that I really love, an organization that has made me who I am today. And so I have shared a few links with a few people to attend webinars on opportunities that have been offered here by the UK government. And I don't know whether they were able to attend those webinars and find more information or not. But there also have been people who have been DMing me, direct messaging me, especially on Facebook, so that I could invite them to the UK. And I keep telling them, if it was just that easy, then the first people to bring here or to invite would be my cousins, my sisters, my mother would be living here with me, and very close friends that I in my circle, not someone that I just met on Facebook. And so I am hoping to share my experience with you. Please read the disclaimer down here. I am not a solicitor, I'm not an immigration advisor. I am just sharing from my experience. And of course, people have different ways on how they relocated to the different countries where they live. And I'm so glad that the UK government is very generous with information on how the different ways that you can, relocate if you want, if you're looking for green pastures, if you have a spouse or someone or a friend or even a family member living here in the UK. So I'll be sharing my journey with you. Now, I'll be looking down just to read my notes. And there are people who ask, and I used to ask myself, is it possible to relocate when you have no relations or you have no family members or even people to help you? Is it possible for you to get a job abroad and relocate on a better way, a better route? Or is it even possible to go to uni or for further education abroad and settle? And the answer is yes. Why am I saying yes? Because I have seen so many people settling down. I am one of the people who have settled abroad and made this my other home, not just for me, but for my children. And their generations. I guess. I guess my children will, unless anything else happens, I see them settling down here for the rest of their lives. Now, how did it all start? Those who have followed my story, and if you haven't, please check some of the videos below. I got widowed 12 years ago, just 12 years this month, on the 12th of December. And before my husband died, we were in the process of relocating to Botswana, another country, to start another life. I was a bit hesitant those days, to be honest, because relocating and settling down in another country is not so easy. It's not bread and butter at all. It has its own ups and downs, and I'll be sharing those ups and downs with you if you want me to do another video. And we had already identified Botswana as the other place that we wanted to go. And my husband had processed the paperwork, and that December before he died, we wanted to travel there so that I could go and experience, but he died. And so those dreams were shattered. And I stayed. Those who know my story, we were very close as a couple and as a family. And so when my dreams were shattered, it's like that dream of relocating was shattered as well. But I remember, because of some of the struggles that I was going through, and of course opportunities that came up for me to go to other countries such as Singapore, Malaysia, India, where else did I go? Finland, and of course, you know, when you pass through other countries, then you see the kind of life other people are living. And the thought that I have been at the graveside for such a long time became a motivational, I mean, a motivation for me. It became a bigger motivation for me to seek for ways to relocate, live and work in another country, to move away from the graveside, but also to give my children another life. So I identified the why I really wanted to relocate. I really wanted to start a brand new life for myself and my children, away from my pain, away from the struggles, away from hatred and from my in-laws, away from the rejection, but also as a way for God to prove that He is God, because I'm a strong believer in God. I'm I'm not just someone who follows religion. I am a follower of Jesus, and a strong believer that God is a God who makes a way where there is no way, but He's also the God who determines where every man should live. And so I started seeking where God wanted me to live with my children, and I was very clear with God. I remember it all started in a journal. I journal a lot. And if you follow me, you know that I talk about journaling and gratitude and writing down your vision and having a vision board for yourself and your family. I talk about that, and if you want me to talk about that on another video, I am happy to do that. So I wrote it down. And by the way, this is one of my journals I have published on Amazon. If you'd like a copy, I will leave a link below here for you to grab one. And so I wrote what I wanted. You have to be clear what you want. What is it that you want? What is it that you're asking for? I was very clear that I journaled, I wrote it down. God, I would want you to open an opportunity for me to live, work, and settle abroad in an English speaking country, because I didn't want the struggle of learning another language. I'm not a linguistic. Deborah, my daughter, is. I am not. And I also have another daughter. Those who know, Favor has autism, and I didn't want her to go through the challenges of learning another language. So I was very clear. I didn't want to go to a Scandinavian country where it is not English. It's not an English speaking country. I was very clear. I wanted to go to relocate to an English speaking country. And I was clear. I didn't want, and I respect all jobs. As long as a job is bringing money, it is okay. I was clear. I wanted to work in our sector. I work for an international organization, and I was clear. I wrote it down, and I wrote as much information as were flowing through me, and I laid it to God, because I believe when you plant a seed and you go to your garden and plant a seed, you don't go back there every day scooping to find out if the seed is growing. For me, that was a seed that I released to God, and I told God, this is my desire, and I know your desire is my desire as well, or my desire is your desire as well. You want a good life for me. You want a beautiful future for my children. And I know that you are able to do exceedingly abundantly above what even I think or even imagine. So make a way for me. And you know, he did. I remember in 2005, I came to the UK and for a workshop with one of my colleagues. And I stayed for a few more days. I was hosted by a very distant, my auntie's distant, very distant relatives then, who is a friend of mine. She lives in another town a bit far from me, and she brought me to this city where I currently live, Milton. This city where I currently live right now, and she for shopping. And the last day when I was leaving her house, I asked her, Mama so and so you find me a husband so that I can also relocate and live in this country which I love so much, which is just so structured and very structured, and work here and live here. And she looked at me and she told me, Lydia, it's not as easy as you think. Getting a husband is okay, but I would advise you to look for a job. The city where we were, there's one of your offices there, and you can seek for a job there. And for me, that was like a dream. I mean, my grade where I was working would not have. I wouldn't. I am not sure that I would have been one of the people who would have been picked to go and work in another office. And I wasn't confident that I would be able to work in a donor office, in a support office. And I went back to Kenya and continued dreaming and trusting God. The following year, 2016, I was invited by my friends to Finland together with my children. They were gracious enough to pay a ticket for my children to go for a fundraising event. And I remember when we were, going and coming back, the layovers, I showed Deborah how to, in the airports, you have to move from gate A to gate B. I showed her what to do when you are at the airport. And I told her, Deborah, I have a strong feeling that God will fulfill one of our desires to relocate to another country. I don't know which one. It has to be an English-speaking country, and it has to allow me to go with you because you're my life. And so I don't know whether I'll go there earlier and then you have to follow. So please take note of how to, where to find information, and how to move from one gate to the other. And we returned back home, and I didn't know that there was a very important email that was waiting for me. One of my colleagues from here in the UK had come to monitor projects, and I told her my job was coming to an end. Why? Because the organization was in the process of restructuring. And so we would my job, I was not guaranteed of getting a job. And she asked me if I was looking for a job. I told her yes, and she told me there was this opportunity that I could apply. And I remember looking at the JD, and I wasn't confident that I would do that job, although it was the job that I was doing at a lower level. And I remember reaching out to one of my mentors, who was one of our staff in the organization, and I talked through what this was, and he told me, Lydia, you have to apply for that position, and they send that application, that sent your CV tonight. And that is what I did. Story long short, I got the job, and I relocated within very few months. I got the opportunity in May, and by August, I was here in the UK. I came alone, and after a month or so, I went back for my children, and we are living here in the UK. It's a long journey. It wasn't a straightforward one. Of course, I had to go to the website and do the application for the visa, for a work visa, which, if you're happy for me to share in the next video, where you will find the information, how to fill the application, how I filled the application, and how that process was, I am happy to share with you. But what do I want to leave with you? Well, before you decide before you when you start thinking about relocating, you have to identify your why. Why do you want to relocate? Which countries do you want to relocate to? Is it English speaking country? Is it French speaking country? Or are you open? There are people who are not open. When you're going to the market to buy a car, you know which car you are looking for. You don't go looking for any tuk-tuk or a Toyota, and maybe you want another car. Or when you're going to the market to buy tomatoes, you know you're going to buy tomatoes, and you will not pick potatoes. You know, you have to be clear. Clarity. Be clear. Number 2, write it down. Write it down the Habakkuk way. Habakkuk 2, chapter 2 says, write it down. Write your vision down. Write it down in a journal. And please grab a journal from down here. Write it down. Then find information. Look for information, and I'll be sharing with you more information on how to find that information. Get the right support so that your application is not rejected. And I'll be sharing my journey with you if you want me to. And of course, I know there are a few people who want to know how that process looks like. And of course, when I came, I had to find other routes. Of course, I came at the work visa route. But because I have my mom who is still living in Kenya and I wanted her to come and visit, I had to start finding out which are the other routes that people can migrate into, which are the other ways that people can use to relocate to other countries. And I am happy to share that information with you on, what is available out there so that you can make your decision on whether you want to relocate or not. I'll also be sharing how life has been, the ups, the downs, the struggles, the joy, and how this became a reality. This was a dream for me, to live, work, and live together and relocate together with my children, and I am living it. It is possible. God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above what you think or even imagine, because He is God. Please make sure you subscribe to our channel, follow us, and make sure you watch the next video where I'll be sharing the different routes and where you can find more information. Bless you. Please feel free to DM me or send me a message. I'm going to respond to all the messages and all the comments. Share this video with people who are desiring to relocate and live abroad. This is a channel where we are vulnerable to each other, but also share hope. God bless you. Remember to subscribe and share our channel. Bless you and have a good day.